So, welcome everyone to the intermediate level headpatting classes. And, well, don't worry, I think everyone knows the basic levels, but we will do a very quick recap on it. If someone would like to be the plushie for me for this presentation, then please come here so I can demonstrate. I think Taicho, I don't know how to even pronounce your name. You are here, so you...
Taiko.
Taiko. So Taiko is here for us, and we will be presenting how to do the basic ones. I think everyone knows this. This would be the basic level, which is it's a very good way to greet people, and well, not much for us. So this is roughly the equivalent would be of like a human handshake. If you would meet someone, that like this is how you would greet them. It's also like a great way to like make them feel more welcomed or express gratitude. Like if you would put the hand on their shoulder IRL, it can be similar. Yeah, basic level headpatting is practically like the equivalent of a handshake or putting your shoulder onto someone to express gratitude that they did a great job. But I wouldn't say that it would be good enough as like a standalone activity. That it means it's you can do this, but not for long before you get bored. I think you can get much better than this. This is where intermediate level headpatting would come, which is similar to the to the basic one, except it's much more enjoyable. So you can sell it as like a standalone activity. You can just like sit down and do headpatting on each other. It's fun, relaxing, and if you into that, it can bring you closer with the partner that you are petting. Or if you want, it just can be like a random relaxing exercise, even with strangers. So, why are headpats so enjoyable? A significant portion of headpat enjoyers have at least some level of phantom sense. That means that based on various sensory inputs, they can feel things which don't really exist. It's more common in the medical term to like have a phantom pain. This is on the same spectrum, except it's enjoyable. The interesting thing is this is absolutely not required, even though it can be a very fun thing, and apparently you also can learn it. But if you don't have a phantom sense, there's no issues. Other thing that I heard from people, because I asked them why do they like headpat, affection was one more which was coming up quite often. To quote one of our birds, I'm a sucker for affection, and I can agree with that term. It can be very nice just to be pampered or treated nicely. It also can bring you into a very relaxing mood, and well, that's, for example, why I have this nice lo-fi music in the background, which is well, it's just Dream Hop from YouTube. They have a channel named Dream Hop. If you're interested more of the music, then you can listen to them there. It's going to go in the background to get us into a good mood. So you can do it for relaxing purposes too, but also it's very rewarding. What it means is it's not just fun to get headpats, it's just as fun, or sometimes can be even more fun, to give headpats. So yeah, who can you headpat? Obviously, if you are having someone significant other or similar relationship, you know, in like furry communities, it's common to have even like poly relationships and even less common things, but you don't need that. You also can do headpats with friends too, and I would argue that even with strangers can be enjoyable. So you just need to make sure to agree on what's allowed for both of you. It's kind of like if you would go into a massage salon and get a massage, and you don't really have a relationship with the master, but you still can enjoy it. To make it worthwhile for everyone, you could, for example, take turns on this. So, why is headpatting enjoyable in VR? You might have noticed that VR doesn't really provide direct feelings for you, but that's not really an issue. The brain is a complicated biochemical machine which has to deal with lots of different sensory inputs, and it's absolutely required for your brain to be able to work with less than perfect data. So you have lots of different senses, your brain mixes it well together, and that's how can it do a lot of things. That, for example, if something bites your feet, you can feel it, but if you just see something crawling on your feet without feeling it, like a fly have flown onto it, that also can create the same kind of reaction. We're going to take advantage of this, absolutely. For example, Phantom Sense would take advantage of this in a way where even though your brain cannot feel it, it all absolutely can see it, and therefore it can create a similar feeling like if someone would touch you. And so yeah, we're just going to take advantage of one of your existing function of your brain. There are limitations though. So you have to somehow get this information into your brain, and one of the easiest way would be by vision. So you have to see the other one. You have to see the other one doing the petting to you, and it have to line up with certain rules. We're going to talk a little bit more about later. This is the best, in my opinion, because it's very highly detailed. It can combine nuances, and for example, haptic devices are usually, they are at like a single point, and sometimes they don't even have like a nice way to convey how like deeply push you there or you don't push there. So they are practically just on or off sometimes. Advantage of VR headpatting is that you can do it anywhere, anytime, even through continents. You don't have to like go to like a massage salon or anything like this. You don't have to travel to your friend, significant partner with plane. And another advantage is, even though it has lesser sensory input, it actually might be an upside for some people who think that physical touching is a little bit too much for them, but they still can get practically physical affection with this. Another upside of this is if you have if you belong to like Therians, otherkins, maybe you're a trans person, or just you straight up hate how you look, this can help a lot with that, because you can be whoever you want in VR, and you can more or less train your body to treat the VR character as if it would be yourself. And another thing is it's safer. So this, for example, if you want to do it with the strangers, VR is, well, you can just turn it off, or like there's like no risk of someone badly cleaned like a surface that you lay down on and you get some kind of skin infection. So how you do it in VR? There are two ways I'm going to mention. You would guess that from the front, but as you can see, well, you can't. You can see. So if you do it from behind, it will be much better. This gives you better access to the other person, and if the other person have a mirror in front of them, then they can see yourself, they can see themselves and you much better doing the headpats. And as we learned, seeing is the only way to make your brain feel something. Another way is laying down. You can just lay it down. If you would, Taiko, you would do it, then this can also be a great way, because Because, well, it's cute and adorable, I think. Just look at this cute little bean laying there so adorably. It also gives you very good access to the other person, and you might be able to get away without a mirror if you want to pet someone. The other ones still should use a mirror so they can see themselves better. Another advantage of this, this does not give a mirror image, unlike petting from behind, which certainly needs a little bit of practice to control your body over a mirror image. And yeah, also you need to make sure in both cases to not block the image. For example, my wings being here are quite bad because it would block their view from the mirror. So yes, mirrors are kinda necessary. You would think that you can just use a camera. Issue with a camera, it only gives you a flat image, and that will be much harder for you to control yourself over, because depth perception is very important to the brain. You do it automatically without thinking about it. You just look at something and you can gauge roughly how far you are from the other person, and with camera you don't do that. Also, you cannot resize cameras, and I would say they are very small. So mirrors use stereoscopic rendering, which provides the necessary depth perception for you, and you can make them larger, and therefore you will also feel it much better. So world mirrors are an option which are not always available. Like, I just cannot turn on a mirror in a stage here because we don't have one. Might not be in a perfect position even if they are available, or they have silly settings which you might not like. Advantage of them is it will be the same for both of you. Personal mirrors are always available, and they can be customized to a very high degree, which we will take advantage of. Personal mirrors are underrated, and most people don't know how to take fully advantage of them. We're going to learn how to enable them, set up a couple of settings like in immersive mode to control them better, and we're going to disable name tags because guess what? I'm standing here. If I just space myself up a little bit and want to give this bird headpats, the nameplate is right here. Depending on the size of the person you're going to pet or creature, this might be straight up in your face, more likely than not. So we're just going to disable that too. So how do you do personal mirrors? You can just press the top button. That's Y or B on Quest. I'm not sure on Index. On desktop it's R. I'm not sure how you're going to do it on desktop. I heard they have like camera-based tracking, so you might be able to do something, but we're not going to talk too much about. So it's B on Index, as Tycho have said, and you just use the joystick to select the menu. If you have stick drift, because I experienced it a couple of times, you can enable something called flick select, which will kind of fix it for you. Also, the menu can be opened on both hands. I'm just saying it so you can take advantage of it. So we're going to go to the personal mirror option, and in that we will have multiple things. Obviously the mirror is just going to enable it. The grabbable is obviously if you press the grip you can grab the mirror with it. You might want to disable this once you have set this up, because you can absolutely grab the mirror by accident when you try to do gestures or something. Size is also a very useful thing. You can resize it to your heart content. I recommend setting it to some sanely large size. Another interesting setting in the mirror is the masking. That just means that what it's going to be shown up in the mirror. For example, the UI would show you the name tags or similar UI elements. Would you guess that? The world, if you toggle that off, it's going to make it a transparent mirror. If you want to make one for yourself, I would recommend leaving it on, so it gives a little bit better immersion. Remote users sometimes can be useful to be turned off, because that case only you going to show up in the mirror. You want to see the person you are headpatting, so you should leave this turned on. Another fun setting is the tracking, which sets the anchor to your mirror. That means that it will specify where the mirror is going to stay as you do things. If you set it to head, that means when you turn your head left to right, even if you don't turn your body, it will follow it. The world would be the most intuitive. You just put it down and it stays there even if you move. Play space would be where it moves with you as long as you move with locomotion. So if you do joystick, then it moves with you. If you step left to the right or something, then it will stay there. Okay, so in the settings menu, we're going to have even more settings. Immersive mode. This would be very useful because if you enable it, you can just grab the mirror with your grip, and on the right hand with the joystick you can move it forward and backward while you grabbing it. So you don't need to do this movement or this movement. You can just use the joystick for that. Border, I would recommend turning it off to help a little bit with the immersion. It might be personal preference. Opacity, it can make it transparent. Sometimes it's helpful, right now it's not. Mirror snapping would be that it snaps to direct angles, so like a right angle to you or 45 degree. I'm not sure if that's helpful for right now, but I think it might worth experimenting with. Nameplates, again, if you go back to the settings, you can disable them. If you still need to see someone's name, you can just open your menu and temporarily it's going to show up. It might take like half a second if there's a huge instance until everything shows up. So you can just go into the nameplate settings, you can click on visibility, and then just click on nameplates hidden. So, play space movers are a very useful thing that you might want to take advantage of. They are quite a bit more precise. So if you try to adjust your position, as you can see me, I'm gently just bumping the joystick but can't really find the perfect position. If I have play space mover, I can adjust myself very smoothly and in ways that traditional locomotion does not allow you. I would recommend two ways to achieve this. On SteamVR and Windows, there's OVR advanced settings. You can get it on Steam, where it costs money. This is to support the developer. If you don't have money, you can just get it for free on GitHub. If I know it correctly, it might be a little bit more hassle, but it's available. If you are on Linux or you want something else, it might actually work on Windows. I have not tried it. There's WLX Overlay S. It's a free and open source overlay. It works over OpenXR, OpenVR, so both SteamVR would work. Works on Linux with Wyvern and Monado too, and it will also give you a desktop mirror and a watch. So for me it replaced free SteamVR overlays with one free software. I absolutely would recommend these things. They can help a lot with immersion. Gogo Loco is probably many of you have heard about it. It's going to be useful for us to prevent from accidentally moving away as you move the joystick. So you can lock yourself. Another thing is you can lock yourself from your feet turning. So for example, if I turn my head left to right, I'm going to rotate. And if I'm sitting down, that's even worse, because then my leg's going to rotate, as you can see on Tycho. And that's also going to be help because your head will still rotate, but your legs will stay at the same place. Also, if you don't have full body tracking, you can just line up yourself with a Gogo Loco position, and it can be a good middle ground. It can be very immersive if you line up yourself well enough, and it's actually free, so it's much more accessible than a full body tracking. You also can float yourself a little bit. Sometimes tails on the ground can collide with the floor, and that will get in the way. If you float yourself up a little bit in Gogo Loco, then it might solve the issue. Another option is turning off floor colliders, which might or might not be an option on your avatar. Many avatars have Gogo Loco by default, but you can install it for free on any of the avatars that you have. You have to install it in Unity Editor and upload a new version of the avatar. So if you don't have one right now, it might be a little bit late. But certainly something to remember. And it's a free thing, so why not? Hand tracking is also a little bit underrated. I've noticed many times that, for example, if I hold my hand, it's very widely open, and if I put my hand over the trigger, it's going to curl it way too much. Hand tracking can help you with this by tracking your fingers. So you can curl your hand, you can control the fingers individually. That might be more of an upside on an avatar with more fingers than Avali's. On Avali, a well set up animator can go for a very long way, which somehow is not a thing on many Avalis. But yeah. You also, if you're doing hand tracking, sometimes you have the bumping the joystick even worse because gesture control is not precise. You can just lock your movement with Gogo Loco, for example, and that will solve the issue. Another thing that you might want to take advantage of is you can still use a separate controller for controlling your movement more precisely. For example, I just use a PlayStation 4 controller, and but you can use any controllers. VRChat can accept multiple separate input at the same time. You just have to click on the window to bring it into focus. If you're using hand tracking, use plenty of light. Higher light might be better. Your cameras are probably more sensitive to that. It needs a buttload of light. Calibrate. So, Taiko, if you could turn in this direction for me, that would be awesome. Viewpoint of the avatar is the point where the virtual camera looks out from your head, and that's what your VR headset sees. You can't really guess where is it by the head shape, because I've seen avatars where it's this far here out in front of the nose, and there are other ones where it's inside the head. How can you calibrate this? Just start moving your hand, and the other person will say when it starts clipping into their vision.
Right there.
See? Now I know if I do it farther than this, they're not going to see it. And if I do it in front of them, then they can see the hand. This is important because a hand in front of you will be much better imaginable for your brain rather than behind it. It will be useful for some techniques to know this. You can override this in Unity Editor, so every avatar might have a different setup, but also it changes base by base because the avatar creators also set it up differently. Some are more sane, some are less sane, and there are also wonderful avatars like the Javali where it somehow interacts with the IK system, so it's not even at the right height, even though I presumably set up well in Unity, but that's a different topic. So yeah, it's important because the other one have to see what you are doing. If you are petting inside their head, it's not going to be visible. A mirror will help with that, but it's better to see the hands. Smaller point of contact can be better. For example, you can take advantage of your claws or your fingers, or if you are a feathery creature or winged creature, feathers, wings can be very nice too. So just as a demonstration, for example, you can do something like this. Or if you have a claw, then you can just have one singular claw and just gently rub it through. Be very careful not to pierce the skin, that might be uncomfortable. Follow the head shape and again take consideration of what they can see and what not, and don't block their view. So for example, this might be less fun because they won't be able to see, but if I do it this way, they can still see it in a mirror. So it's easier to focus on a single point, therefore it can feel more intense, which is the upside and the downside at the same time. Fast movements are not good, they can feel unpleasant, especially that they are pointy. But sometimes more can also be good, so for example, you could use both of your hands to sandwich the QT between your hands and gently do it. I'm going to do a demonstration of this too. So I think this face sells it for us very well. Okay, so you can also take advantage of your fingers and just run it in front of their eyes. I'm going to switch into a different avatar for this one. The reason I'm using this avatar is it has a visible separation between the fingers, if you can see it. Therefore, as I slowly run it in forward in front of their eyes, they will be able to see the fingers slowly blocking and not blocking the light. It creates a little bit of a flashing at a very slow frequency, which can be a little bit hypnotic, relaxing effect for many people. If you are a little bit worried about by flashing lights, technically it is, but because the frequency is so low, as you move your hand slowly, it should not cause. Research would say 3-5 Hz usually is required to have any kind of effect on photosensitive people most of the time. This is a Hertz or a less than that, so it's practically not really an issue. You always should consult with the people to see what they like or what they don't. Well, there are more things to heads, even though it's a head petting class. There are ears, shoulders, chests, chins, neck. You also might be able to nuzzle, it depending on the temperament of the other people. For example, you can just run your hands right along their ears. You also can grab them, which I would do, but then I would have to let go of the microphone. You can put your hand onto their shoulders too and just gently massage them. If they are a more masculine creature with less breasts, chests are a pretty good choice, so you can just gently massage them. On feminine avatars, I would advise against it by default. I heard many more people being uncomfortable with that, so I would not recommend without previous consultation. But chest, I would encouraging at least to give it a try. Chin, you can see it, you can just run your hand right there. Same with neck, those are also very sensitive areas. Usually if you can see something and it's sensitive IRL, it will be good for in VR petting too. So again, make sure to follow the shape of their head, so don't clip through it. It will break the immersion and might even create uncomfortable feelings. Another thing I've noticed is people go fast. So again, this is good for head petting, hi, it's very nice to see you, but actually IRL research have been done on this. The recommended speed for caressing petting is 1 to 10 centimeters per second, and the best results were around 2 to 3 centimeters per second. That's roughly 1 inch per second. I would reason that you should do it according to the scale of the avatar that you are petting, and that would be roughly this kind of speed. So in general, I would say the slower is better, because I'm yet to find anyone who did it too slowly. Smooth hand movements are better than jerky ones, and also long movements are better than shorter ones, so you can just loop the movement. See, I can just run it all along the bird and even introduce different patterns. And because it's not interrupted, it probably will feel much better for them. So vocalization can be a very interesting thing too. For example, if you are making noises as you are getting pets, for example, or sighs or deep breaths, that can create a little bit of resonance in your chest, which can stimulate the vagus nerve, which ultimately has a calming effect that also works IRL too. Another thing, if you hear the other people doing this in VR, they are not doing something spicy. It's just a way to get even more relaxed, and you should try too. You might like it, you might not like it, and there are a lot of different ways of what each people like and what they don't. So you should experiment a little bit with that. There are the other people also can make noises. If you're talking to someone, you should do it in a soothing soft voice. So for example, Oh, you're such a cute little bird. Such a good bird. For example, this is much better than, for example, my current talking voice, which is good for a presentation but not very relaxing. But if I would talk like that, you all would fall asleep. So yeah. Some people like silence more than others. Some people like speaking more than silence. It also both can be enjoyable. There are also an ASMR aspect of this. Again, that's a thing that some people love, some people hate. For example, I would say brushes can also be this territory, and I've seen a lot of birds enjoying brushes. Sometimes they even have audio clips onto it to have like a brushing sound. Feel free to experiment with that. It can be good. Yes, I think I have talked about this, but just going to make it once more because it's important. Your brain creates sensation from what you see, so you have to see it. If you are doing something and you want the other one to feel it, they have to see it. For example, back rubs would be nice, but good luck seeing that. Also, you have to make sure to not clip into their head, because again, the same feelings that create the good feelings, they also can create the bad feelings. So if you like poke something into their nose quickly and hardly, they're going to feel probably discomfort. It might even pain for that. So yeah, at worst it's not going to feel good, and at best it's going to feel bad if you do that badly. So pay attention to it. Consent. That's also something that many people told me, please mention this. Consent. It's very important. I know we are furries, we are touchy-feely creatures. Don't just walk up to a bird and start petting away. As like an IRL example, what I can say is if you go to someone and want to shake hands, you don't reach for their hands and grab it, but you would just reach out with your hand and you wait for the other one to reach back to you. They grab it and now you can shake hands with them. A similar thing should be considered with petting, so you don't just run up to a bird and pet. You probably want to ask, or if you, I don't know, it makes you uncomfortable, which it should not, there are other ways to convey that I'm intending to head pet and give the other one time to say no. For example, sometimes it works if I just reach out towards their head, and if they tilt into it, then I can just like continue giving I can just go on and give the head pets. And if they don't want, they can pull away, or even better, say no. Say clearly that you don't like head pets, and you should not, and you not wish to be head petted, and that's fine. Every person, creature, entity have different comfort level, and this also might change on various things like where you are, who are you with, how do they look can also be. If, for example, if they constantly was harassed by some kind of avatars, they will have less trust toward you. Also, it's depending on the relationship. Some people really don't like if new people start touching them from the beginning. They might need a little bit more time with you to get comfortable. Always pay attention to this. Safety. This is a game or a computer software. You can escape it anytime. Yes, there are asterisks to it, because I know there are various kind of people. Say no clearly. There are idiots out there. I can also be an idiot sometimes. If people are saying like no, thank you, I don't want this, then they might understand it. There's like a decent amount of miscommunication with people that like they just misinterpret the signs. That's why you should ask for consent to avoid this all. But if they did not, you can still say no. You can also use the report, mute, block functions of VRChat, which can help with these kind of issues. Safety settings also might be able to helpful if it's not directly for this, but in general, like avatar features can be disabled with them. If something goes really badly, there's like a button combination. On Quest it works like you press literally all the buttons, so like all the face buttons, trigger and grips on both controllers. It will switch into a safe mode where it will disable every avatar except your friends. So that can help you out. And if it's not enough, there's a standby button on your headset. It's going to be on here on the Quest. I'm not sure how it works on Index. There are probably some kind of solution. If that's too difficult, you don't find it, anything, take off the headset. That will solve a lot of issues. So take this into consideration. If everything goes well, you probably can just take off the headset. Might not be pleasant, but it will get you out of situations. And after that, you don't forget to send feedback toward the people who are moderating the instance or a group so they can take appropriate action, therefore protecting other people from bad interactions. Sometimes they just need a talk, other times they need to be banned. So, we learned a lot of, we learned the basics of intermediate level headpatting. I believe now you all have the theoretical knowledge to give enjoyable headpats that are good for like even standalone interactions. So you can just like start headpatting away and you will be able to make it enjoyable for both parties. Practice will be needed. A lot of practice will be needed. So when you look at that, we have a lot of birds here. I think if you are here, you likely will enjoy headpats. So what if we would like pair up, either friends or even strangers? You can just pair up and would spend like 2 times 10 minutes on practicing with headpatting each other. So like, for example, if I pair up with Taiko, I would give 10 minutes headpats to Taiko, and then for 10 minutes they would give me headpats. So
Yeah, I would say so.
how do you like these ideas, birds and other creatures?
Venom sense. Can I buy Venom sense?
Gua.
Venom sense?
So,
Wise, right?
That really is.
yeah. What do I have on the next slide? Okay, then we will go through all of these. So to make sure that everyone is comfortable, this is a strictly safe for work event. No spicy moves, spicy touches, spicy topics. This is not a place for your looking for partners for future plans. I want this to be an event and a place where you can just give and get headpats with no strings attached. So even if you want, you can just pair up with the strangers too. So if anything goes well, now you also know how did you set up the mirror. And as like a reminder, I'm just going to go through very quickly a couple of movements that you might be able to take advantage of petting your pair. So I'm not going to be able to speak, but you can see.
Visiting family and stuff.
There we go.
Do it backward.
So, I just pulled up the personal mirror.
Delicious.
Happy poop.
Why? What?
How is it?
Too many birds on it. Too many rats. I don't know about that. Check yourselves.
Yes.
I'm hoping it can stay as long as possible. I don't know when dinner will be. I like these headpats. So it's not like you can redo anything at the moment. Can't eat my head.
Yes, but
Why not? Wait, what happened?
Right now.
I could have been lost.
So I think we have the basics of the things. Also, I have a slide of advices. It's okay to make noises, as we talked about, like these hums and whatevers. I talked about the controversial areas, so like chests are fine for more masculine entities. I would encourage dipping your toes into trying it. Feminine breasts are, I would say, not to do because it can be controversial. I have not really known why, but people ask me, so it's going to be easiest to just not do it. Below chests are also similarly off the table. This is a headpat meetup. So yeah, if you have private events, those can be fun, but yeah, those are for private events where you can be a bit more spicy too. So First of all, do we have any question? And second of all, we're going to have a couple of minutes of sharing how it went for each other, what worked out for you, what did not. So if you have questions, just run up quickly here and I can answer them all, or if not, we can just start petting away.
In all honesty, I was just trying to stay awake the entire time.
And now you're certified headbatter.
I'm sorry, my Headpats
I may-
make you way too calm.
This is how I.
Okay, I think this means that everyone knows everything. Yeah, so...
I just
The
wrote
entire time
my
I'm
cut off.
getting ready.
Let's start the first 10 minutes. Let's start the first 10 minutes and I will notify you all when the 10 minutes have passed so you can swap roles. So have fun petting, cuties.